What do you do when a man ignores you? I'm sure that every woman has experienced this at least once. How have you reacted? Or how would you react? Do you immediately text or call him to grab his attention? Sit in silence and blame yourself for doing something wrong? Or rush over to his place, begging to see him? These actions only make him ignore you more and grow more indifferent towards you. Hi, it's Vernon again, and today I'm going to share 4 powerful things you can do when a man ignores you that will make his ego crumble and make him come back and beg for your love again. Instead of chasing or pleading, you'll learn how to take control in a way that makes him feel the consequences of his behavior, without you saying a single word. Before we dive deep, subscribe my channel and ring that notification bell. This channel is dedicated to sharing wisdom specifically for our community, those of us who understand that life's greatest lessons come with experience. Let's start with the very first move, the one that sets the stage for everything else and immediately shifts the balance of power in your favor.
Number 1. The mirror principle, reflecting his energy. When a man is ignoring you, one of the most subtle yet powerful ways to regain control is by reflecting his energy back to him. This doesn't mean being passive or cold. It's about matching his behavior in a way that communicates your awareness and self-respect. Women's first instinct was to fill that silence, to call more, text more, try harder. This is what I call the mirror principle, and it's rooted in a psychological concept called reciprocal behavior modeling. When someone gives you minimal energy, you mirror that energy back to them, not out of spite, but out of self-respect. If he's distant, you don't chase or beg, you invest your time in yourself, your hobbies, your friends, your passions. You show him that your life is full and vibrant whether he's present or not. This graceful independence sends a quiet but powerful message. You are complete on your own, and his absence cannot diminish your value. If he's hot and cold, one day attentive, the next day distant, you respond with calm consistency. You don't get swept away by his mood swings or react impulsively. Instead, you maintain your own emotional rhythm, showing stability and self-respect. By reflecting his energy in this balanced, measured way, you hold up a mirror that reveals how erratic or unsteady his behavior looks from the outside. This principle works on a deep psychological level, because human beings are naturally responsive to their own behavior when it's held up as a reflection. When you mirror his energy, whether it's distance, inconsistency, or coldness, he isn't just noticing you, he's noticing himself. Seeing his own actions reflected back creates a subtle, almost magnetic tension. He becomes aware of the gap between the way he's treating you and the kind of connection he secretly desires. It awakens curiosity, prompts self-reflection, and stirs feelings that may have been dormant: attention, longing, and desire. In essence, by simply reflecting him, you shift the power dynamic without confrontation. You're not chasing, pleading, or demanding. Your presence becomes a quiet force that makes him reevaluate his behavior and instinctively move toward the connection he's been taking for granted. Dr. Helen Fisher's research on romantic attachment shows that the brain's reward system is actually stimulated more by intermittent reinforcement than by constant availability. In simpler terms, when you become as scarce as his attention, you trigger the same psychological mechanism that makes gambling addictive. But mirroring is just the beginning. What most wise women did next tapped into something even more powerful, a man's deepest fear of loss.
Number 2, the scarcity reset. Becoming unavailable. One of the most powerful ways to regain control when a man is ignoring you is to become intentionally unavailable. This isn't about playing games. It's about creating the natural space that allows him to recognize your value. Scarcity, in this context, isn't manipulation. It's the act of preserving your own time, attention, and energy. When you make yourself scarce after being ignored, you're not playing games. You're realigning the relationship's value system. Recent studies in behavioral psychology show that the fear of loss is twice as powerful as the desire for gain. This is called loss aversion, and it's hardwired into our brains. When you're constantly available, your presence can start to feel ordinary, even taken for granted. By stepping back, by limiting your responses, engaging fully in your own life, and showing that your attention is a privilege, not a given, you trigger a psychological shift. Suddenly, he notices what he's been missing. That gap creates curiosity, reflection, and often a subtle panic. Why isn't she around like before? Becoming unavailable also sends a clear message without saying a word, that your life is full, your time is valuable, and you don't revolve around his attention. This is radically attractive because it signals independence, self-respect, and emotional strength, the traits that naturally command desire. Importantly, scarcity works best when it's authentic. You're not withdrawing to punish him. You're withdrawing because your life is rich and fulfilling, and his attention is something you choose to receive, not something you chase. This kind of unavailability resets the balance. Instead of feeling in control, he starts to feel the absence of your energy, presence, and attention, and it creates a natural pull that draws him back toward you. If you're struggling with feeling taken for granted, the scarcity reset can be a game changer. But here's the key. This only works when it's authentic. You can't simply hide or withdraw as a tactic. It has to come from a place where your life is genuinely full, vibrant, and worth investing your energy into. Focus on cultivating passions, friendships, hobbies, or goals that light you up. Travel, learn something new, pursue creative projects, or spend quality time with loved ones. When your world is rich and engaging, your presence becomes naturally magnetic. And your unavailability isn't scarcity as a ploy. It's scarcity as a reflection of a life that's worth noticing. Have you ever tried pulling back and focusing on your own life while a man was ignoring you? What happened? Did it make him notice you more, or did it feel awkward? Drop your experience in the comments below. I'd love to hear your story. And that brings us to something even more powerful than becoming scarce. Number 3, the value demonstration. Living your best life. Here's where most relationship advice gets it wrong. They tell you to make him jealous, to post photos with other men, to create drama. But at our age, we know better. True power doesn't come from trying to make someone else feel bad. It comes from making yourself feel magnificent. You emit what researchers call attractive confidence. This is not the kind of confidence born from desperation or the need to prove yourself. It's not about loudly asserting your value or seeking validation.
Rather, it's a quiet confidence grounded in the deep understanding of your worth. You don't need to shout it from the rooftops because you carry it naturally. It's a confidence that comes from within, from knowing that you are enough exactly as you are. This kind of confidence is magnetic because it radiates calm assurance, making people, especially men, want to be around you. It says, I don't need to chase or beg, I'm already valuable, and I offer that value freely when it's deserved. When you embody this energy, you no longer have to prove anything. My own sister, Dorothy, navigated her divorce at 58. Instead of fighting for her ex-husband's attention, she did something remarkable. She became the woman she'd always wanted to be. The Stoic philosopher Epictetus taught his students to focus only on what they could control. Dorothy couldn't control her ex-husband's feelings, but she could control her own growth. She took that pottery class she'd talked about for years. She traveled to Ireland, something she'd dreamed of since childhood. She learned French. Dorothy's ex-husband began hearing from mutual friends about her adventures, her new skills, her radiant happiness. He started reaching out, wanting to catch up, suddenly remembering all her wonderful qualities. But by then, Dorothy had remembered them too, and she realized she deserved someone who would appreciate them consistently. Your very presence becomes a testament to your strength and independence, and that's what truly draws people in. Studies show that people in their 50s and 60s who pursue new interests and maintain active social lives are rated as significantly more attractive, not just physically, but emotionally and intellectually. You become a person others want to be around. So far, we've covered mirroring his energy and creating healthy scarcity. But both of these principles work because they're built on this foundation. Living a life so fulfilling that his attention becomes a pleasant addition, not a desperate necessity. So, what's one thing you've always wanted to try? Share it below and then commit to trying it this month. And this is where the magic happens. When you stop chasing and start living fully, something shifts. You stop trying to prove your worth, and in doing so, you unlock the next level of attraction that is impossible to ignore. Now, we take a closer look to next powerful principle: how to turn that newfound confidence into an even stronger force that draws him back in, without saying a word. Number 4. The silent storm, the power of a mysterious presence. There's something irresistibly magnetic about a woman who doesn't feel the need to constantly fill space with words, attention, or validation. The silent storm is all about the power of your presence, the ability to captivate without saying a word, to create a sense of intrigue and depth without actively trying to gain anyone's attention. This isn't about being aloof or cold. It's about being present without being desperate. A woman with a mysterious presence holds the room's energy without forcing it. She radiates a quiet confidence that doesn't need to be announced, yet everyone feels it. Her silence, her stillness, speaks volumes about her inner strength. Men are often drawn to this kind of energy because it's rare. In a world that celebrates constant connectivity, a woman who can simply exist, confident in her own worth, becomes a mystery they feel compelled to figure out. There's something profoundly attractive about a woman who isn't trying to impress anyone. She simply is. Modern psychology calls this strategic emotional withdrawal, but ancient wisdom traditions have understood it for millennia.
The Buddha taught that non-reaction is the highest form of action. When you stop feeding someone's ego with your reactions, your pursuit, your explanations, your emotional availability, you create a void that they become desperate to fill. This isn't about being cold or playing games. It's about what Carl Jung called holding the tension of opposites, being simultaneously present and absent, caring and detached, available and unreachable. You become like a beautiful, calm lake, inviting from a distance, but with unknown depths. This kind of presence creates a subtle pull. When you stop trying to be everything to everyone and embrace the quiet power of your being, you give him the space to miss you. You stop chasing, and instead you let the stillness of your presence linger in the air. It's in the way you hold your own, the way your eyes hold depth, and the way your silence fills a room with something more powerful than words. The beauty of this principle is that it doesn't require effort, it requires presence. And in that presence, he will come to realize that the energy you bring is something he can't replace, and he will be drawn back to you, often before he even knows why. To cultivate the silent storm, start by creating space in your interactions. Don't feel the need to fill every silence with words or gestures. Let the moments breathe and focus on being present in them rather than performing for them. This creates an aura of calm and mystery that draws people in naturally. Next, embrace self-sufficiency. Spend time doing things that nourish your soul, whether that's pursuing a passion, engaging in self-care, or simply enjoying your own company. When you are comfortable being alone and content with your own life, that quiet confidence will radiate outward. As we reach the end of our time together today, I want you to remember something crucial. These principles aren't about winning a man back. They're about winning yourself back. The ancient Greek concept of arete, often translated as virtue or excellence, really means becoming the highest version of yourself. When you mirror respect, create healthy boundaries, live vibrantly, and maintain your mysterious depths, you're not playing games, you're practicing arete. At 55 and beyond, you have something younger women are still learning: the understanding that true relationship success isn't about being chosen, it's about being worth choosing, knowing you're worth choosing, and choosing wisely in return. When you genuinely embody these principles, when you truly care more about your own growth than his attention, you become irresistibly attractive, not because you're trying to be, but because you're being authentically, powerfully yourself. Don't forget to like, share this video, and subscribe for more wisdom-based insights for our community. And remember, your age isn't a limitation, it's your superpower. Use it wisely. Until next time, this is Vernon reminding you that the most powerful woman in any room is the one who knows she doesn't need to be there.